cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
1250 winds, Weather Center forecast. High today, getting into the mid-60s. We'll see some more sunshine through the afternoon. And low tonight in the mid-40s, getting to the 30s, northern counties. Up to 70 and sunny tomorrow. Look for those near 80 temps by Saturday. Return. Another front comes in. And upper 60s on Sunday with some showers. Pick up the iHeartRadio app. Check that out through your app store and all your devices or at WHNZ.com. Impact Radio 1250 wins.
The following is a commercial program paid for by Lincoln Lending S Corp. The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the following program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated. Welcome to the Business Happy Hour with your hosts, Frank Coto from Lincoln Lending Group, Ryan Pelky from TampaBay Plumbers, and Doug Ford with Suncoast Roofing Solutions. These three business owners will teach you how to work to live it up, not live to work. Now sit back, grab a cold one if you have one, and get ready for some serious business talk with three hilariously serious business owners. Now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Coto.
Good morning, Tampa Bay and friends. I am Frank Coto, the host of the Business Happy Hour. I hope you guys are having a great day, great morning. If you're listening on 970 right now, it is bright and early in the morning. We're glad you're listening. But if not, you're listening live right now at 11 o'clock on 1250 a.m. here at iHeartRadio. Guys, we are three friends, three business owners that come together every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to talk business and entrepreneurship with you. We want to give you guys some advice. We like to share our stories as well as our experiences in business. On most shows, myself, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford, my co-hosts, are going to introduce you guys, to self-made businessmen, business personalities, some of which are going to be multimillionaires. Some of them might even be a billionaire one day. Or some of them will just be our everyday Joe who's out there in the grind working like you are. Every show, in the last segment, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a business advice. We're going to give you what's called the business tip of the week. We're going to come up with scenarios of both success and failures, both in our businesses and yours, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to encourage you to call into the show and discuss your personal experiences, ask questions, and contribute to the show with us. If you want to do that, if you would like to be a guest on the show, live in studio or on the phone, I ask you to email us at BHH, stands for Business Happy Hour, BHHiHeart@gmail.com. That's BHHiHeart@gmail.com. If you'd like to call into the show, because remember, we are a live show here at 11 a.m., you can call us directly, toll-free at 877-897-TALK. That's 877-897-TALK, and you can be a part of the show anytime. So, guys, the other morning when I was preparing for the show, I was thinking back to some of my first encounters with salesmen. I have a vivid memory as a child of people knocking on the door of my family's home and selling us products. I can remember real vacuum cleaner salesmen with their demonstrations. I can remember Tupperware. I can remember mattress salesmen. But most vividly, as a child, I remember the cookie and potato chip salespeople. Gary, I know you remember them.
Charlie Chips.
Charlie Chips. They're the man, Gary.
I think that's got to be a Tampa thing.
It must be, because
I never heard of it.
In the pre-interview, I asked both these guys, and nobody had heard of Charlie's Chips, so it made me feel crazy. I knew Gary would. Gary has stock in Charlie's Chips. So Charlie's Chips, there was always a can, one of those light brown cans of Charlie Chips on the counter at my mom's house and my aunt's house. Okay. My most recent memory of this type of sales approach was around year 2000, right when I got out of college. I was living with my now wife, Nicole, and one day somebody knocked on the door. Okay, I opened the door, and my wife and I at first didn't let the guy in. Had no clue who this person was, but we did schedule an appointment for the guy to show us the product, since his quick little pitch was so interesting. The story ended, sadly, with me purchasing the most expensive vacuum cleaner I've ever owned. To this day, I still have never owned a more expensive vacuum cleaner. Subsequently, I ended up buying a brand new mattress about a month later after he had demonstrated during his vacuum demonstration of what happens when a high-powered vacuum can suck all the dead skin out of your mattress.
Oh, so nasty.
Okay.
So $5,000 visit, basically.
So it was a very expensive visit. Mind you, I was right out of college. Side note to all of you who don't realize why mattresses get heavier over time, it's because it fills with your dead skin cells.
Oh, my God.
I encourage you to Google it. Just be ready for some pictures.
We're all going to buy new mattresses here.
Everyone's going to buy a new mattress.
You're the best mattress salesman in the history of the world.
I know. I just sold 10,000 mattresses. So that's about the last time that I ever remember anyone actually knocking on my door to try to sell me something, besides, of course, a pathway to heaven or to tell me that I have a free ticket to hell, whichever comes first. But the days of the traveling salesman seem to be gone. Well, more like the days of the direct door-to-door salesman. The only people who seem to knock on your door these days are people trying to get you to vote for a particular candidate, or they're trying to save your soul. So let's face it. Why do you think we don't see these types of salesmen today? Why are we seeing less car salesmen on the lots when we go to buy a car? When I was in college at Florida State University, I was intrigued by an ad in the FSU school paper. The ad was talking about sales jobs with big commissions, where you make your own hours and your own schedule. Sounds great, right? Obviously, for a college kid who loves to party, you need money to do it. And when your parents' allowance is enough to pay rent and buy beer, you had to improvise. Some might call it getting a job. So I went for an interview, and there were maybe 30 people in the room, all dressed nice. Everybody had a little tie on, wore their best khakis at the time. And we're all ready to start making some real money as a college kid. Well, I got the job. However, I actually feel like everybody else in the room also got the job. So I don't really know if that was an interview or more like a pitch. Either way, I was impressed. The product they showed me really impressed me. The products, they were pretty sharp, and you'll understand that a little bit later. I learned about the product, and I was told to start my initial sales training with my family. Now, of course, our families are going to buy pretty much anything that you're going to sell them, you would think, but if they don't, that tells you one of two things. Either you're a really bad salesman or your product really sucks. All right? So in this case, neither was true. At least that's the way I like to think. This brought up the question, do you have to be a born salesman, or can you learn to be a great salesman? That's one of the questions that we're going to answer later on today's show. So back to my first college sales job. I was taught to sell Coto knives. If you haven't heard of this company, then you probably don't cook or use your kitchen knives very much. But Coto is a great American company, in my opinion. It's a knife company. It's been around for probably 100 years. I'm going to get the accurate information here in a little bit with my guest. But they're based out of Orleans, New York, if I remember correctly. And the product basically sold itself. So all you had to do was make yourself knowledgeable enough to explain what it did and also explain to people why they should spend $500 or $1,000 on a set of kitchen knives. All right, not too hard. So we were taught to do demonstrations and educate people about the same product, but really we were being taught to educate them about what it would do for them. The demonstration was the key to the sale. Remember, I was telling you a few minutes ago about the guy who knocked on my door and tried to sell me a vacuum cleaner. Well, successfully sold me a vacuum cleaner, probably around $1,500 at the time, more than my rent and all my bills altogether. The guy started the demonstration by, when I opened the door, he had plugged in his vacuum cleaner, without my permission, of course, into my electrical outlet on my front door patio. And when I opened the door, he flicked it on and sucked onto a bowling ball and pulled the bowling ball off the ground. All right, it was a legit bowling ball. So obviously, this was the initial wow factor. And that's what makes you want to learn more about a product. You're wowed. But if there's not a salesman in front of you anymore, how do you get that wow? What happened to going to the car lot and walking around and checking all the vehicles and the car salesman revving the engine for you and showing you the bells and whistles? So coming full circle, most of the people listening to the show are old enough to remember door-to-door salesmen, and pretty much everybody has experienced a car salesman at one point in their life. But with the advent of direct-to-consumer marketing, and more specifically the digital age and the internet, are these types of jobs gone or on their way out? Are they even needed today? Why are people not knocking on our doors doing demonstrations like in years past? We're going to go over some of these questions and hopefully come to some conclusions during the show today. We're also going to tackle the interesting question of giving gifts as an employer and a service provider. You may not realize it, but there are the right and wrong times to give gifts, and they're the wrong and right types of gifts to give to people. Today, all of us at the Business Happy Hour are going to give you guys a gift that will stay with you for the rest of your lives. We're going to give you the gift of knowledge, the gift of free advice when it comes to being an effective salesperson, as well as information on when to give out the right gift. Friends, please sit back and relax and be ready to open your minds to today's free gift of knowledge from the Business Happy Hour.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the door-to-door salesman, I have to admit. I mean, speaking of the Hoover vacuum, I mean that was a pretty good example, though. That's a pretty good demonstration right there.
It was
picking up the bowling ball.
That was really
What kind of vacuum was it?
Kirby.
Did I say Hoover? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Kirby. That's funny because I used to have a Kirby too.
Yeah, you did. You're the only other friend I had that had one.
It must be another Florida thing because I don't think we had those up north.
Man, I'm gonna have to do some internet search.
No,
on there. It's Kirby
not
up north.
It is up north. In fact, I bought it off of my one of my family members that didn't want it anymore.
And people hand those down. So that voice there, guys, that's Ryan Pelky. He's the owner of TampaBay Plumbers. You find him at 813 Plumber, one of my co-hosts. And the other over here is Doug Ford. He's the owner of Suncoast Roofing Solutions, 888-888-ROOF. In case people first time tuning in, got to mention who you guys are, right?
Yeah.
And in studio, our guest today is none other than Colton Mewborn.
Hey.
Hey.
And if it makes you feel any better, I did get the Kirby guy back the other day. Sold him $1,000 set of knives.
Did you really? Give me some right there.
So I got you. I got you.
Why'd you stop it at that? I need you to sell him $1,500 to get it back. So.
Hey, baby steps.
Baby steps. Actually,
Speaking of the demonstration, though, I remember you cutting pennies.
Yes.
In college, it's always stuck with me.
Don't you like cut them into a design or something?
Yeah,
into a flower.
I'll tell you what, being in college and going to parties, there is nothing that will deflate your game like your best friend's bringing up to the girl you haven't met yet how cool it is you can cut pennies.
Yeah,
So.
man. I think the only thing worse would be like saying trying to get him to buy Amway or something like that. That'd probably be
Amway is a gift that keeps on giving. Speaking of Ryan, we need to have lunch next week. Is your family protected? So they taught me to cut. That's funny. They taught me to cut pennies in the shape of like I did little bull horns. But I think as things progress, Colton, we're gonna get to this later in the show. But didn't they teach you the flower as well and other little things?
Oh yeah, I guess there's a million different ways you can cut a penny.
Isn't that debasing money? Isn't that
I think technically it's illegal, but they let pennies
all right, here we
fly.
go. I knew this bunch had come up. When it's a penny, it's not. I don't for whatever reason the actual statute is when you damage a penny in the pursuit of a sale, it's not considered legal tender. Hence why you go to Disney and you see the penny cranks, right? You put
yeah.
Right. For that reason, 5 cents where the
As
government draws
soon as you
the
put a
line.
quarter in, it's a felony.
Yeah, there you go.
Eric Holder will be after you, I'm sure.
I think you just did the government a favor, actually, because I think it costs more than a penny to make a penny.
I've heard that. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank, Ryan, and Doug, and our guest, Colton Mewborn, Regional Sales Director, Manager, Entrepreneur with Cutco Knives. We'll be back in a minute. If you guys want to join the show, don't forget to email us or give us a call. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 1250 and 970. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hey, Tampa Bay, this is your friendly neighborhood Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, your home of the no-fee mortgage and the 4-minute application on 813mortgage.com. I have some really incredible news for you. Real estate investors of Tampa, listen up. We now have a no-income product with just 20% down and a 660 credit score. No income, no employment, investment loans. Buy as many homes as you want. Apply now, 813mortgage.com, your no-fee mortgage lender.
Have all the rain and storms this year left your roof unprotected? Do you need an honest, reliable, and trustworthy roofing company? Call Suncoast Roofing Solutions today at 813-283-2544 for a free evaluation and no obligation estimate. You'll appreciate their personalized solutions and no pressure consultants. You can find Suncoast Roofing Solutions on the web at suncoastroofingsolutions.com, where honesty, integrity, and craftsmanship come first.
Hello, it's Ryan Pelky with TampaBay Plumbers, and I want to tell you about our drain cleaning services. We always include a video inspection with our drain cleaning service, and that's because it's the most important part of the job. Imagine going to the doctor and only being treated for your symptoms. Proper diagnostic will save you time and money when it comes to plumbing or just about anything else. We are the straightforward company and never bait and switch like our competitors make a living on. Call 813-PLUMBER. That's 813-PLUMBER for all your drain cleaning needs.
In an era when it's tough to know which news outlets to trust, there's an alternative which gives you the information about the topics you're interested in. It's the Cats Roundtable with John Catsimatidis. From politics to pop culture, senators to media personalities, John Catsimatidis gets to the heart of what's really going on in politics, business, science, the world. Hear it all on the Cats Roundtable, Sunday mornings at 9 on Tampa Bay's Impact Radio, 1250 WHNZ.
Even if you're a big-time basketball fan, there might be a few facts about the game you don't know. Like, did you know that the first baskets were actually peach baskets? Or that a warm basketball is bouncier than a cold one? Or that players can run as much as 4 miles during a game? Well, here's another fact you might not know that's actually really helpful if you need to buy a car. TrueCar also helps people get used cars. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience. And with TrueCar, users can see what others paid, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, check out TrueCar and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. You've heard about employees without paychecks and small businesses that can't get a loan, but the government shutdown is also affecting frozen inspections and fraud cases. Also, why the shutdown does not mean you can skip college loan bills, and how to keep your wits if your company likes to constantly reorganize. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News, 5 to 9 a.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-664-2871 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-664-2871 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-664-2871.
You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. If you happen to miss the first segment, we are 3 successful businessmen. Myself, Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com. Ryan Pelky, the owner of 813 Plumber and TampaBay Plumbers, and Doug Ford, the owner of Suncoast Roofing Solutions, 888-888-ROOF. We come together every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to share our stories of success and failure in business and to give you guys some business advice. And don't forget to stay tuned into the 4th segment if you want to hear the ever-popular business tip of the week. So our guest today in studio, introduced him in the first segment, is Colton Mewborn. Colton, I've actually, how long have I known you, Colton? We've probably known each other maybe 8 years, 7 years, 5, I don't know.
A while.
Like it's been a while. We got to know each other because we both shared something in our lives, which he's currently doing, and I did in college, and that's Cutco knives. And there's so much more to being a salesman these days. Things have changed so drastically. In the first segment, we were talking about the question of are direct sales and door-to-door sales and our salesmen themselves, are they dying? Is it a dying breed? I do want you to tell your story. I want to start with that, and then I want to make sure we get into the fact that Doug recently bought something from a door-to-door salesman, which blows my mind. And it was not a Kirby vacuum cleaner. It was not a new mattress, although he's already told me he's buying a new one later today. If you missed that part, go back to the first segment. But Colton, tell us a little bit about you, about your history. How did you get into this sales position? And most interestingly, I don't want you to forget to mention something you told me earlier about not even realizing you were a salesman at one point. But take it from the top. How did you get into the world of sales through Cutco?
Yeah, I didn't ever consider myself to be a salesman. I didn't ever think that would be my career path. I knew I wanted to do something in business. I just didn't know what it was. And like we talked about before the show, my first job outside of high school was on a roofing crew, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, right. It doesn't take much to look at my skin complex and
you must have lathered up with a lot of suntan lotion.
None of this belongs anywhere near a roof, right?
No, you don't.
And to learn how to become a good tipper, I got a job at a restaurant. So I was in the process of doing those two jobs. I learned what a quality education is worth in life, and decided like, hey, this isn't for me, and was putting out internship applications and got scooped up by Cutco. And was recruited in the summer of 2011 to sell Cutco knives.
All right, and how did that start? What did you do? You came in and they told you you're going to sell these knives right off the bat, and you thought, man, I'm a salesman.
Well, you're right. And to your point, the interview is designed to look like an interview, right? A traditional interview. But let's be honest, it's sales is sales is sales. They're recruiting. That's the name of the game. And I remember sitting down and saw it for what it was and thought,
wait a minute.
Air conditioning, knives, I could do this. I was like,
roofs are angry customers.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, how hard can it be? And so that essentially is what birthed my start into direct sales.
Right. So you started, and then you went out and you started selling them, and you obviously found some success. But then you told me, bring up the story about how you realized you at some point were a salesman and you wanted to get better. And then I like the whole incentive, how that the Rolex challenge started as well.
Yeah, sure. I think it was going off to college and playing that fun balance. My guidance counselor sat me down, and at that point I was just so, what is it that, age breeds arrogance and arrogance breeds ignorance, and sitting down with him and just wanting it all. Literally being like, hey, I want to make six figures as a college student, and I want to live the life I want to live. And he said, yeah, that's awesome, and sat me down and pulled out a little yellow sticky pad and drew a triangle. And to the points of the triangle, he drew school, social life, work. And he said, pick two. And for whatever reason, I think any of the entrepreneurs in this room, when someone just tells you can't do something, right? Then you just say, "Watch me."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. And so at that point, I was in management. I'd done fairly well in my first summer, and the higher ups in Cutco took a liking to my work ethic and wanted me to recruit and train. And so the next summer, I went off to another territory to help open a district office and recruit and train other little redheaded salesmen and saleswomen.
Literally.
Literally, yeah.
So at this point, are you still going to college?
At this point, I'm still in college.
Okay.
At this point, I'm still in college. I'm just fitting in what I can where I can, right? So negotiating with my professors to come back to school 2 weeks late because I want to hit the incentive trips to go to the Bahamas and Cancun and stuff. And
so you might have missed a point in that triangle a little bit.
Yeah, I gave him one good point, right? Yeah. So at that point, I just realized, I wanted to maximize my time, and just introducing myself to things like 4-Hour Work Week and other motivational literature and entrepreneurship programs and things like that, like Tony Robbins, and going to conferences. Just kind of figured out, hey, the way I need to get where I want to go is paying for the knowledge that I need. And so I hired my first professional mentor at 18 and just hunted down the very best in the Cutco nation. What they call Silver Cup champions is our number ones, and just didn't stop, just made them listen to me, even though.
So at 18 years old, you realized that you needed business coaching.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's the first time I've ever heard someone
really awesome.
do that. I mean, Doug and I were driving here today talking about business coaching, and Doug's very, very old. But everybody knows I turned 40. I'll let Doug slide on this. I don't know. He might be.
I mean, I think any business owner, coaching is not a bad thing to try to get into, because most of my uber successful friends have all had coaches along the way. Right. And it's a mentor, essentially, and it doesn't. They see the things that you don't see, and they push you in a direction that you don't push yourself. And I think that's what people need sometimes to be successful.
And they give you sometimes accountability.
Definitely accountability.
All of us are accountable to ourselves, but it's easier to let myself down than someone else.
So Colton, you're talking about these mentors that you went after. Like, so what's some of the best advice that you got from them that made you in the success you are today?
Yeah, I think that's an incredible question.
How about we pick up that question when we get back from the break? on what are some of the advice you got from these mentors, and then I want you to tell the story about the Rolex challenge and how that started with Cutco, because that wasn't around back in the day, and we're going to merge that when we get back into incentivizing your employees. That's a little guess there towards the business, a little tip. What the business tip of the week is going to be. Sorry. Incentivizing your employees as part of it. And what do you have to do that? And how did you become incentivized from the day that I'll spoil it, when you won the Rolex that's on your wrist right now?
Colton
Mewborn is our guest. We'll be back in the Business Happy Hour in just a minute. And next week's guest is going to be Frank Goddens from Ad Dynamics. That's going to be a great show next Wednesday at 11 a.m. So stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour. We'll be back in just a minute.
Your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword BANK to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's BANK to 200-200.
I'm Jessica Ettinger, CNBC. Stocks are higher on some strong quarterly earnings reports out this morning from Goldman Sachs and United Airlines and others. The Dow is up 0.5%, up 155 points. The NASDAQ, it's up 34 points. The S&P up 10 points. Sears will continue operating, and Sears and Kmart stores will stay open for now. The company's chairman won the bankruptcy auction, although the plan has to be approved by a judge. Meantime, Gymboree is set to file for bankruptcy and close possibly 900 stores. This would be its second time in bankruptcy in recent years. Discovery Networks is bringing back Extreme Makeover Home Edition, 10 new episodes of the former ABC series. Variety says no cast yet. It'll be on in 2020. HGTV will also re-air the old ones. Repeating for you, the Dow is up 155 points. CNBC.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
From the Florida Central Credit Union Free Checking Traffic Center.
Here's some heavy traffic westbound on I-4 from 22nd Street to 275. West Shore is closed northbound with water main repairs at Azeel Street. In Pinellas County, you have a crash on 4th Street at 3rd Avenue South and a wreck on Dr. King Street to south of Central Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Edric Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
This report is sponsored by Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your home. Whether it's a monthly challenge to meet your goals, a training program for your next race, or setting a new personal best, the Peloton bike will make you want to show up and keep climbing the live leaderboard year-round. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News, how the government shutdown impacts fraud cases and college loans, and companies that love to reorganize. 5 to 9 a.m. on 1250 Wins, WHNZ.
From the Weather Center, Abrahamson and Uterwick. Experience counts. See the results. Pinellas Hillsborough.
Your Tampa Bay area forecast. Lots of sunshine and cool, high 65. Clear skies and cold overnight, low 47. Mostly sunny and warmer tomorrow, high 70. For more news, weather, and traffic, tune to WFLA at 94.5 in St. Pete, 105.9 in Tampa, or 99.1 in Newport Richey.
This report is sponsored by Ashley Home Store.
Ashley Home Store's sale and clearance event is going on now. For one final week, get no interest for 72 months. Saving money is always in style during Ashley Home Store's sale and clearance event. Hurry, sale ends Monday at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
You're listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. In case you have not met us before, we are three successful businessmen who come together every Wednesday at 11 to talk about our experiences in business, and we always bring you an interesting guest on the show to share their business experiences. Today we have Colton Mewborn. He is a rep with much more than a rep. He's one of about 150 full-time Cutco managing salespeople for the company.
Now, are you number one in Cutco?
No.
How close are you to number one?
You could split the categories a million different ways, right? But
you could cut them. You mean
You could cut them. You could cut them.
Cut it. I don't think I had any aspirations of being number one. You know, that's a lifestyle choice of mine. I love to travel too much, and you know, I've broken the records I want to break at this point, and yeah, I'm comfortable where I'm at.
So before the break, Doug asked Colton a very interesting question, and he was talking about, Colton said he had a mentor. You said you hired your first business coach / mentor at 18 years old.
Yeah, I was paying almost as much for my coach as I was for my dorm room per month.
For my dorm room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really impressive.
So Ryan and I were asking in the break, what is a piece of who was your first mentor, first of all, and give us a couple pieces of advice. And guys, this is for the sales guys out there. Remember, if you're a business owner, you're a sales guy. You are selling yourself and you're selling your business everywhere you go. You're branding yourself, you're selling yourself, you're a reflection of your business. So this advice is not just for the guys who are selling the Kirby vacuum cleaners to Ryan and I. So who's your first mentor?
So shout out to my buddy Ray Reed, good friend of mine. I think it's incredible as you grow and progress in life, the people who sometimes give you advice can end up being real endearing friends of yours, and that being the case here. One of the pieces of advice he shared with me, and by the way, plug Dan Pink, to sell is human. I think anyone that's an entrepreneur that is or is not in business, to think that you're not selling yourself constantly, I mean, you're just cutting yourself short. So let's just get that out of the way. But one of the pieces of advice he shared with me that I loved and embodied is, you know, don't take advice from someone you wouldn't be willing to trade places with. And I also love the analogy, you know, that everybody can be your teacher. It's your job to find that somebody, because it could be anybody.
Wow.
So be willing to listen to everyone, but only take advice from those you'd be willing to trade places with.
I've actually never heard that.
That's good advice.
That's a really good piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I want to be a plumber, but I actually do take advice from Ryan sometimes. So I break that one.
I think what that plays into is just surround yourself with people you want to be like. Like I don't,
Right.
you know, I mean, if I have friends of mine, do I want to live in their, do I want to live in their shoes, go in their shoes? So that's people you surround yourself with. So it's kind of the same advice, you know. If they want to give you advice, do you want to live in their shoes?
That's a very good point. And then talking about being a salesman, we were talking in the break, Colton, about what does it take to be a salesman, and you talked about being a salesman is not reading a script.
Right.
It's more about what?
Being yourself.
Being yourself.
Being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know your people, your product, and your process. And if you do use a script, you know, for anyone out there that's not using a script, I'm a giant believer in a script. It helps you to understand those three parts of your business. But just follow the structure of find the master, follow the model, memorize the script, internalize the script, and then personalize it and make it your own.
So the two most important things to me are the last two things you said. It's internalize it and make it your own.
Yeah.
Because everyone, and you said this in the break, can smell a script a mile away.
A mile away.
Right? But it's the people who internalize it and make it their own and have their own personality come out within the conversation, within the script. Doug, you were saying you sell yourself inadvertently.
Correct. I mean, I always when I'm trying to sell somebody, I look for a common denominator, something that I have something in common with them that you can build from, and then from there,
maybe they like cars. Maybe they pull up in a fast
cars,
car.
You know,
or
I
they're
see
wearing a
something on
golf
their
shirt.
wall, or I see something and I can easily relate with them. And then once you relate with somebody, the conversation becomes much easier.
Like when Colton walked in, you knew right away he was a roofer.
You can just tell.
You can just tell. If you guys don't get the jokes, you need to tune into the Business Happy Hour on YouTube or our Facebook channel, and you can see beautiful Colton Mewborn, and we can see why he is not designed to be on a roof.
Genetics weren't nice to me.
I think
roofing genetics.
I think the most important thing about being a good salesman starts with really believing in the product and loving the product. I think if you don't have that passion for the product and love it, then it makes it you're starting from a disadvantage right away. I mean, you can't. I personally could never sell something that I don't believe in, and think that it's the best product out there.
I think passion is definitely something important
People
as well.
feel passion
exactly
when you're doing it, and if they believe you love the product, then they're going to buy it.
Yep.
They're going to buy that product. So let's get back to the door-to-door thing. Because, Doug, you blew me away. Actually, Colton mentioned it the first thing this morning. We were talking about door-to-door sales, and Colton brings up a company called Vivint.
Yep.
If you guys don't know who that is, that's a home security and camera company.
Yep.
So, Doug, we're talking about door-to-door sales being dead, and Doug goes, well, I just bought a door-to-door
Yeah,
sales
it was
thing.
probably over a year plus ago. But yeah, but it was more I needed something, and then this guy comes to my door, and he blew me away. I mean, I actually want to hire him as my sales guy. I mean, he was a really, really great person and
but you
easy
just
to talk
said
to.
something. You needed something.
Yes.
You had a need.
Yes. So it was almost easy for him to sell me. But yeah, definitely. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. I mean, I told him, I said, look, I'm not gonna buy from you right the second. Let me go, deal with my personal stuff, and I'll call you in a week or two, and I'll invite you back.
Is that what you did?
Yep, exactly. I mean, I basically went, I did my own research, I did all the things I needed to do, and then I called him back, and then he got the sale.
So you do realize that when you told that guy, in the back of his head, he goes, this guy's full of it.
Yep.
He's never going to call me again, and I just wasted 20 minutes of my time.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you did.
No, I mean, they have a good product. So I researched everything, and because of him, I remembered him as a person. He was easy to relate to, and it was definitely sold me.
Did you let him in the house?
I think he's standing in my doorway.
Okay. Well, which is typical. That's why I'm asking it these days. A lot of people are standoffish, and I think that's Colton brought up that a lot of communities are frowning upon door-to-door
Well,
sales.
our community definitely is no soliciting, but you
Right.
know, it was something I needed, so I allowed him to talk.
So I told
Obviously, we get Jehovah's Witness all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, no, thank you.
Right. But they weren't selling you an alarm. They were
Correct.
they were selling you a ticket for the rest of your life in eternity, and you gave that up for an alarm and a camera.
Yes.
Good job, Doug. So, no, that's funny. The only people that I ever have come to my door are the ones selling my soul right now. But this Vivint thing blows my mind. It's because they have a good product. It's not because they robbed your neighborhood the weekend before either, right, Doug? Your neighborhood is safe.
No, definitely
you
safe.
just knew you needed it. So the thing about like Carvana, that's a new thing. If you guys haven't heard of that, that's basically a vending machine for cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think technology is disrupting a lot of the personal interaction with people and products. So I mean, with Carvana, you have nobody selling. You just basically is a vending machine for cars.
Right.
And I think that's what everything's going to. It's easier for companies just to have something that's technology to sell things.
Because people are doing the research.
Correct.
Now. So the sales, everybody understands now, hopefully in the Business Happy Hour, we answered a lot of questions about sales for you. Is sales is important, but it's about being yourself, internalizing it, understanding and liking the product. Colton, you are a specialist in gift giving. Cutco, one of the biggest things about Cutco is not only do people buy them, for themselves, but they buy them as gifts. I've bought them as closing gifts for my company, and they actually go over very well, especially for the people who know what it is. They know the value in it, and it's a nice gift. Talk to us about gift giving, because something you mentioned was there's the right time to give a gift, and there's the right and wrong gifts.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Sure. So I think there's a couple cornerstones to gifting, and to give you a good backdrop of why we give Cutco, or why so many companies work with us, is because it plays into why I do Cutco in the first place, right? It's out of the box thinking. It's not your traditional career. Same thing with gift giving. And if you give the same gifts that everyone else is giving, for instance, you want to wow your client. You think taking them out for another 18 holes of golf, or taking them to Ruth Chris, like every other supplier or everyone else trying to bid for their attention, is going to help you stand out? Debatable, right? And so we lean on some of the other tried and true methods of out-of-the-box thinking, which is going to be winning their inner circle. So what's that look like, right? Everyone has a sphere of influence of about 250 people that, regardless how many friends you have on Facebook, you have your inner network, your inner circle. So we try and target the sanctuary, the sacred place of that inner circle, which is going to be about 5 or 6 people that you refer. Most of your referral, your network stems from. And that's going to be your home life. That's going to be your wife or your husband, right? That's going to be your kids. That's going to be your best friends, your 3 or 4 best friends. So how do you naturally get referrals from them? Well, especially with business owners, most of these guys are going to be males, right? winning their wife's appreciation is just going to get a load off their back.
Right. Good point.
What do most households do? They cook, right? They like to sit down, have dinners. Again, we're making gross generalizations here.
Right. But hold on, Ryan's wife has already texted him during the show. Basically, you just made a sale by sitting here saying that you have knives.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, happy wife, happy life. So if we can win that inner circle, hey, that's going to alleviate a burden from this business owner. It's going to make their wife happy because the wife feels appreciated by their business partners. They're going to be thought of there. When people come over, they're going to be using the Cutco product because it's an amazing product. So referrals are naturally going to stem from there, from people going, hey, what's that? They use the knife, or it comes up. It just naturally brings referrals up in conversation versus your traditional playbook, which is, hey, let's go catch a Tampa Bay Lightning game together. Hey, let's go play some golf, or let's go to
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Speaking of that, I had a friend of mine who's a master blender for CEO cigars, and he said if you find a client that likes cigars, you give him a cigar box, and he goes, every time he smokes that cigar, he's going to remember you.
There you go.
So it's
Every
not
time you use that
one
knife.
thing.
Yep.
It's just every time. So for knife, same thing. It's every time they use it, they're going to think of you.
Yeah.
So along the same lines, that's good.
So that's the same reason that I did buy a couple of years ago from Colton a big batch of their spatula spreaders, and he had them engraved for me, and I used the cheesy slogan, Frank Lincoln Lending, the sharpest lender in town. But every time they take it out and spread their peanut butter, they have to hear my name and see my logo on there, which I don't know if that was good or bad. But the gift is a good gift. It keeps on giving. It's something you touch all the time. I love the cigar one. It's at least 20 different times they're going to remember your name. Yep. When we get back, Colton, you're going to tell us about what is a good gift and what is a bad gift, and tell me about the right and the wrong times for giving employees and clients gifts. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970 and 1250. We'll be back in just a minute with Colton Newborn.
Hey, Tampa Bay, this is your friendly neighborhood Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com, your home of no-fee mortgage and the 4-minute application on 813mortgage.com. I have some really incredible news for you. Real estate investors of Tampa, listen up. We now have a no-income product with just 20% down and a 660 credit score. No income, no employment, investment loans. Buy as many homes as you want. Apply now, 813mortgage.com. Your
trouble sleeping. So what can you do about it? Take Solace. Solace is an all-natural dietary supplement formulated to support healthy sleep and relaxation. Solace can help you fall asleep and stay asleep